Hello family, I am in the Osa Peninsula right now and I'm so excited to take you on this trip with me. I'm here because my partner and I are both ceremonial musicians, and he actually worked in this retreat center for 3 years. So we are here to visit the family again and be together and play music together and be in ceremony, be with the earth here, the animals, the trees, the beings. It's so beautiful. And fun fact, I actually used to live here. Only like down the road as well as my first home in Costa Rica, and this place is so special because we are very close on this peninsula, the Osa Peninsula. We are very close to Corcovado National Park, and Corcovado National Park is by the square meter the most biodiverse place on planet Earth, which it's such a privilege to be here and to be able to live here and to be able to return back here to this land, and to live in Costa Rica overall, so close to this place, but also to have lived in this place. And it has been a major part of my awakening, of my coming home to myself, coming home to nature, coming home to connection, and to become the woman that I am in this present moment. So I hold deep gratitude in my heart for this place, and every time I return, it continues to give more and more and more growth to me, which is so beautiful and so potent, and I'm so grateful for that and so humbled by that every time. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be able to take you all with me through me being here. So thank you for coming along. Bye! Let's get flying into the beautiful scenes of nature and surfing. And so this trip is made of ceremony, nature, surfing. We surf a lot here. The ocean, mother water, and yeah, just being immersed in the elements. Truly, it's just, I feel like our life is just connecting to Earth and this life the deepest we possibly can, which here very much includes the ocean and the waves, which are some of the best waves in the world also here by this coast. It feels like the ultimate abundance on this planet is presented to us here. It's wild. And I think also sometimes you watch these videos online and you're like, wow, like how is it possible that they're living this life? Like, is that normal to them? And it is normal to us. But we also many times a day say, wow, this is a dream. How are we here? How do we get to live this? To us, it's just as mind-blowing and beautiful as it is to all of you watching. This normal that we are living is, yeah, truly an honor to live. So I'm so grateful I get to share it with all of you and allow you to see a piece of the beauty that we get to call our life, and that we have also essentially created as our life, and taken many risks and leaps for, and faced many fears in order to call our life. And now it's all of our life, and we get to share it with you. Thank you for being here, for surfing along, for singing along, for coming along, for watching along. I'm excited for this journey inside this screen. And so we jump into these visuals, into this beautiful vlog of our adventure in the Osa Peninsula, seeing Soul Family, and I was tuning into myself what I want this diary entry to be about, and the most fitting is how listening to the voice of plants and elements has changed my life, which, as we're looking at this beautiful meal that we got served that day, I want to share with you the first layer of communing with plants, which you are actually doing right now yourself. You might have clicked on this video and thought, well, what? I'm not communing with any plants, I don't know. And I'm here to let you know that you are, through the food that you're putting in your body every day, the plants that are fueling your body and creating the energy that you get to watch this with, that you get to be alive with today. It is all fueled by the plants and the energetic memory of plants. And so I ask you, do you know where your food is coming from? Do you know what food you're even fully eating? What fruits are in the food that you're eating? And what path they took to get to your house, into your belly? And as I'm saying this, we were seeing this jackfruit on this tree in the Osa Peninsula, and we got served this fruit for breakfast. It's one of my absolute favorite fruits in the world, and this plant, the tree, was actually imported from Asia, and it now lives all over Costa Rica, and we get to eat this fruit so often from the land directly, which just feels so good in my body. It allows me to really land in a place too, to eat food that's locally grown, and it has become a really important part of my life. And once I started, in the most simple way, becoming more aware what my connection to plants is, I realized, there's plants that I love more than others. Like, there's different plants I love in different moments of the year and different moments of my cycle. And I just talk about food right now. I'm just simply talking about the fruits that you're eating, the vegetables you're eating, the grains that you're eating, how they've been processed and how they get to your body. And you are made of that energy. You are made of your nutrition. And this is such a potent way that we must become aware of as a collective, that what we put into our mouth deeply matters. And as I say this again, you can see that we went to a little restaurant really close to our house, and we had some ice cream that's like locally made and organic and super clean. And it's another opportunity to get curious where the plants that I'm consuming are coming from. And yes, we are eating Oreos because this is still a cheat meal. Those obviously aren't local, but that's okay because it's not about perfection. It's about authenticity and curiosity in this matter of communing with our food.
El mundo habla de salvar a la madre, olvidando que es ella que lo salvará. Cuidado del fuego, humana. Hija de la tierra. May your heart burn like a sacred fire. May your heart burn, abuelito fuego. I'm a sacred fire. 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 I'm a sacred fire.
Should I go check it while you turn it off? Yeah, thank you. Remember why you came here. Remember life is sacred. Remember why you came here. Remember life is sacred. Yes, we are to walk on this ground.
And as I say this, you see us jamming in wooden homes. We're actually about to go surfing with our soul family in this clip and really getting into like the pure nature immersion. And honestly, to me, that is like the second most impactful way to be more focused on like really listening to the voice of plants and elements has changed my life, because there's no way that you can hear the voice of the plants and the elements in nature if you're not in pure nature, if you're not in raw nature. Actually, let me correct myself. There is maybe a way, but it's just going to be a little more challenging to hear that voice. And when you are immersed and you are literally in touch with the raw elements and the like plants, so many living plants around you, you are going to feel it. You don't even have to try. You are just going to feel it. And that's also a reason why I love surfing so much. You're just in the water, you're in the waves, you're in the ocean, you're feeling the force of storms that made these waves all the way out there in the ocean, in our case in the Pacific Ocean, and that force you cannot not feel. So the easiest way for me to listen to this voice of nature and the rawness of the elements has been getting into raw elements, following sports that support me in raw elements, so being in homes, living in a space where I can feel the raw elements and the materials that I'm around, and like really, really getting out there into a space where I cannot not listen and hear, and I feel it all.
Can you go surf?
Get yourself out there. Get yourself under the shining full moon. Allow yourself to receive the light of the moon, of the sun, of the rain. For us in the jungle, we find huge geckos on the wall, and we just get to appreciate them as a part of the natural cycles and the natural ways. And this morning, it was the moment to take space for myself. But look how beautiful this morning was. The jungle was so calm and just as magnificent as ever, as it tends to be in this space. And after we have now spoken about communing with plants through the food that you eat, communing with the elements and also plants and nature, through immersing yourself fully in nature. This is the other layer, which is spend time with yourself and alone. Find moments to just be with yourself. Find moments to hear your own inner voice. And find moments to really allow yourself to receive in stillness. Because for me, learning to like really deeply drop in with the elements requires for my human to become still, for my human to become silent, for my mind to not take up all the space. And in order to practice that, it is a practice and something we can learn like anything else. I need space to be in silence and to be with myself. And I invite you into the same practice to hear your own voice and become a channel that's even more clear, to really feel and hear nature in your life. Welcome to your intermission of this video, because I have to give you a food recipe. So I used a bunch of coconuts from here that we had, and I'm going to teach you how to make a coconut aioli. Literally every time I make this, people are like, whoa, what is this? It's so good, because it's so raw, it's so fresh, it's so simple. And this recipe is vegan. I'm not vegan actually. I fully support like different ways to get nutrition from the earth, whether that is through ethically sourced animal products or whether it's through plant-based products. But yeah, this recipe just happens to be vegan. And so this coconut aioli can be made with any other nut. I'm using coconut because it's native to where I live and it's always in season, meaning that it's actually the best for my body to eat. But that's going to be different for you. Depending where you live, you're going to want to eat different plants and you're going to want to eat different nuts in this case, for example. So I'm really excited to share with you the recipe from my coconut aioli that you can have with like literally anything. I love eating this on bread. I love eating it just as it is with like potatoes. It's so good. But also if you just like to make like fresh bowls, it's really nice. I think having like a little sauce really elevates any bowl. So this is to spice up your bowl and like healthy food life a little bit. All right, let's get it quick, easy, and simple. You're going to use any kind of nut native to your area. You are going to gather some salt, some oil of your choice. I like to use olive oil. That with the cut up coconut or whatever nut you're using, as well as some like a bunch of parsley, a bunch of like onions if you want, some garlic. You can also add some ginger, and lemon is really important. And you literally just throw that in the Vitamix and blend it really well till it gets creamy. Add some water if you have to, and that's all.
Oh, look, baby.
Yay! She's cute.
Yeah, that's looking
Yeah,
great.
she's cute. Oh, with the longboard, this
Oh,
would
yeah,
be
yeah,
crazy.
and in the back it's breaking as well.
Yeah. And when we speak about getting to know ourselves, the stillness is so real and so important. To be able to listen to your own voice, to the voice of nature. And another really important layer that I've found is within that, to really, really get to know yourself. There's going to be a self of you, a part of you that is your soul. And there's going to be a part of you that is your human. And there's a huge difference for me. They're different beings, they're different entities within myself. The human is much more like adapted to our society. It's much more, the human is unfortunately at this point of the world much more in the mind. And my body of my journey of discovering my soul more so, and listening to from my soul, connecting to the world and nature from my soul, has looked like really coming into my body, really coming into my waters, as I say. Because our body is just made of full water. It's a tank of resonance. So this game of resonance and what do you actually like getting to know yourself. As you're watching this right now, do you really know yourself? Do you really know what you like? If no one outside of you had an opinion, you know, where or would give you reflections, like who are you on a soul level, outside of your mind and your body? What feels good to you? What feels exciting to you? What is really resonating with your heart? Without judgment, you can just feel it resonates. And maybe also asking there, like, what's not resonating, you know? And for me, this is also like deeply connected to allowing you, also this video of our scorpion in the house. Yeah, that's raw nature. Actually, a crazy side story. This scorpion was in our sink and it was kind of huge. That was at night. This is the next morning. But yeah, this scorpion was in our sink and it was literally the new moon. Or maybe it was the full moon, I don't recall right now because I'm recording this a little later, but it was literally in Scorpion, the moon. And I found this out later and I was just like, whoa. And those things for me, for example, they resonate. I like that. I love finding the resonance in nature. I love these things. And as I ask you, like, do you really know yourself? I also call upon the parts of you that actually do know themselves, the ways that you do know what you like, the ways that you do know what you don't like, and the little ways that you can even feel your soul already now watching this without even trying. It's not about trying to become someone different immediately, but finding the little parts of you that are that already and just amplifying them. The fact that you are watching this video, the fact that you're listening to my voice, the fact that you're interested in this topic,
This is resonance. Welcome to the field of soul resonance, of listening from your soul, not only from your human mind and your human conditioning, and maybe also your human pain and your human memory, but bridging in the soul and these different layers of yourself and listening to all of life from this place. And I have found that that has allowed me to actually listen to nature, to learn a skill of listening to elements and plants that I wasn't born with in our human society, something I had to completely teach myself, but something that has brought so much connection and intimacy to my life.
This is the theme song of surfing in this peninsula, which is called the Osa. And I asked Felix to sing it, which he did at first with maybe a gentle lack of enthusiasm, but then
Everybody's gone surfing. Surfing the OSA. They'll be surfing backwash. And Matapalo too. They'll be surfing Pandulce on an empty shoe. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody's gone surfing. Surfing the OSA. They'll be surfing Pandulce and Backwash Bay. They'll be surfing, surfing the OSA. Bow, 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 bow.
yeah. Second surf of the day, and Moon is falling asleep. But here we go.
Realized that we took out your back fin and didn't put it back in again.
I took it out?
I certainly.
And you guys, when I tell you to get into the raw elements and you're not going to be able to not listen to them, I don't just tell you that, I actually tell you that because it happens to me all the time. And it's really big, like, growth edges for me, which is going to come up in this second half of the vlog a lot, towards the end especially. This vlog is about to turn a completely different direction. But I'm so glad that I get to share these things in a really, like, raw and unfiltered way in my own processes. And yeah, it's beautiful to be honest about these things and not just sit on this, like, video and tell you, like, get into the raw elements and listen. Like, that's not always pleasant. The different moon phases are not always pleasant. But it's about still listening anyways, and allowing the soul to have an experience, even though it might be challenging for the human part of ourselves.
Oh no. So I figured I might as well use one of them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's cute.
Yeah.
Would you mind sucking up the nipple?
You gotta wiggle it. Ooh.
Sucking up the nipple. Yes.
All right.
What a session. We went out there and it was so stormy that when we first went in, we literally felt like we were joking that it's like, this is incredible, incredibly unsurfable. And then we surfed the unsurfable for a while, caught a few waves. It was fun. And it made me think of life and how if we surf the storm and we live a storm and we really practice our art of beingness, or in this case our surf in that storm, the storm will pass. And when the water calms again, when the sea, the ocean calms, we are so much more trained than if we would have just not surfed the storm. And sometimes it's such good practice to just surf the storm in life and in surfing. And it actually felt really beautiful. I was like, wow, yes, we could go home, or we could just surf the storm and make the best of it and strengthen our bodies and commune with the ocean. And it was beautiful. So here's to surfing storms and accepting the different conditions we get to be in. And of course, sometimes you don't need to surf the storm if there is no energy or whatever. But I think especially in surfing, it's such a culture to be craving and to be chasing the perfect wave, the perfect conditions. And there's so much room for frustration in that when the ocean is trying to teach you lessons that you don't want because you just want clean waves. And isn't that life? Don't we all just want clean waves in life and everything to always flow? But then life has something else to teach us and something else in store for us. Oh, the water, the lessons of the water. I feel so grateful for the water, the ocean, surfing, the waves, the movement with the ocean. Such a privilege and such a beautiful teacher. The guru of the waves, the ocean, the ultimate teacher.
And I also want to include in this video that a lot of my perspective on plants and elements truly has been awakened in me and remembered in me through certain really strong and ancient master plants that us humans we get in touch with and we get to respectfully commune with and learn from. This is honestly something that I barely share on social media. I don't ever talk about this on my Instagram. I don't really talk about this here because to me this work is so sacred that it doesn't yet feel true to share that online. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel safe enough. It doesn't feel protected. It doesn't feel respectful and honorable of that work, also on an energetic level. But I'm so grateful to be a musician for ceremonial experiences and immersions like we went on also on this trip. And I'm grateful for all that plants have taught me about life on earth and nature and reawakened in me. And I'm grateful to do this work to give others access to those experiences also.
Another life hack. I've been drinking homemade electrolytes for a few weeks because it's been quite warm here, and I make them with Kangen water. If you don't have a Kangen machine yet, let's talk about that. I sell them for a living. They changed my life, and the water has completely changed my frequency. So I use Kangen water, a bit of honey, salt, and lemon or lime. And if you mix all of that together, you get an electrolyte drink, which is really supportive for your body. So if you feel you need an extra boost, this is it. So good.
And off we went into editing portals, and actually in this clip you also see us recording the music that you have played in the back of this video as like an audio, and the music of this project, of this video. And it's such a beautiful thing to just like sit in a little cabin in the jungle and just make music and flow and express and connect and be with family. Wow, what a beautiful diary entry. And 5:22 a.m. This is the next morning, and a morning began that I really didn't expect to go the way it did, but it did go the way it did. And yeah, this morning was like a really, really strong teacher for me, which we just got up at like 5 a.m. to go surfing. And It was a really big test for me to tune into my own inner knowing and my yes and my no. And this is the last part of the video where I want to tell you that communing and listening to the power of like plants and nature and the elements isn't always an external experience. Sometimes it's listening to your own voice, because you are an element, you are the earth, you are a plant, you are a part of the cosmic web. And that's what happened for me that morning. I got in the water, I was really excited, and a dynamic played out in the water that was already coming the next days that just left me so broken. So broken. And I literally got out of the water and sat in my car and just cried, and it was actually such a good release. I feel like that feeling was boiling up in me for days, and the water, for me, like, water is such a medicine. It really released that in me, and I actually like really sat down with myself and felt into what happened out there for me. And there was a lot around like healing of the feminine and the masculine, and surfing being a very masculine sport, and how that made me feel. And
What a challenging session.
yeah. This is how I sat down to record a video.
The waves were so beautiful.
And it just kept going like that. I actually recorded my whole process on camera, but I want to spare you that.
Alright, I want to stop myself there, because as I'm rewatching this, I actually do feel like I should share a few words of what happened for me that day and why I just felt so ready to go home, because it's actually something I believe a lot of women encounter in surfing. And it feels weird to talk about it, and it feels weird to show those emotions, to be honest, but I want to speak to it because this is a video about surfing, and yeah, I just want to comfort any woman surfer that might be out there, especially if you shortboard and you like to ride stronger waves. That day I went out with my partner and a few friends at a break in the Osa Peninsula that's called Backwash. It's close to Matapalo, and the waves were so beautiful. They were perfect, they were strong, it was just a really beautiful morning. And sometimes when those moments happen, there's just such a strong masculine energy in the water with all the guys. Like, I was the only woman out, and it's just like 20 or I don't know, 30 guys around you that are all like hungry for the waves. And it feels, the main thing I want to share is that it feels like you have to be like a man to catch waves in those conditions. And that can just be so hard to handle as like a very feminine woman that is like devoted to water and the ocean. And I'm almost crying again, like thinking into it, because there's just such a big pain point there. When you're in such a masculine environment that is not inherently masculine, but you're just around all these really pumped up men that are in the water with some with a similar intention as you, but some also with a very different intention, and that energy is so present in the water. And I wasn't really catching any of those waves because I was not willing to be like a man in the water in order to catch waves. And that was the reason why I didn't catch waves, and it was just so hard for me to feel that, like to feel the beauty of the ocean, how it was really present, and then feeling like I just couldn't catch waves because I didn't just want to be like a bro, because I'm not a bro. And it's just a big reflection of like the lack of women represented in surfing, and it's kind of hard, but I also want to speak to it, to be a woman that does go out there and can tell you like, yes, you can surf as a woman, yes, you can get into the ocean as a woman, yes, I want to see more women in the water. And if I'm out there, you could be out there. And I just wanted to share that little part of my process that morning. And not just like not talk about it, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, continue, bye.
I just want to leave you with the calling upon your own yes and your no. When you are having an experience that is a no to you, that is not in resonance, follow that. You are the element, you are the plant, you are nature, you know best what's good for you. And the moment that there's a no and something you need to change, it's time for you to speak up about that and to really, really make that change and not keep you in suffering that you know is actually not serving your highest good. To keep yourself in suffering or in pain that's actually teaching you something is a different story. But if you're experiencing something that is truly feeling so out of alignment, follow that. Follow your own inner knowing. Please empower yourself to trust yourself. Especially as a woman, we are not taught to do that a lot of the time. A lot of the time our feelings and what is serious to us is belittled and not really heard. But this is your reminder to listen to yourself. You are nature. You are the force. You have your own inner knowing. And it's time you remember that.
Back home. Ready to go home. So excited to be back in my routine. I haven't created anything in like 5 days, had my Wi-Fi off pretty much the whole time, and I just love making my reels and doing my digital work and being in my home routine. That gives me like rhythm. I'm excited to go back.
And that day for me, listening to my own inner voice, which is a guide, our feelings are guides, especially as women, it said, go home. You need to go home now. It's been enough. And this was so random, you guys. We weren't going to leave. And of course, we took our scorpion, which we named Billy, out of our sink and gave him back to the jungle, where he's probably going to be happier than in the sink. And I'm also so grateful for my partner, who did support my feelings. You know, he didn't want to leave. It was uncomfortable, but he still said, like, okay, I see how important this is to you. I will support you in that. So if I want you to take anything away from this video, it is to follow your feelings as guides, to immerse yourself in pure nature and start to listen, to find stillness with yourself, to get to know your own inner voice and what you love and like. Find the source of your food and the plants you eat every day, and maybe deepen into more ceremony with certain master plants too, and find that community and soul family and see how the plants can change your life too.